Happy Spiritual Sunday. Welcome to the Boca Kabbalah Center. We reach all parts of the world, right? The internet goes everywhere. How many of you can see the internet? No, see the internet itself. But do any of us have a doubt that there is such a thing? Why not? Why do we not have a doubt in the internet? Think simple. Because we see the result, right? Here we are. We're turned on Facebook. And so we're in Macedonia, we're in Portland, we're in Florida. Who else is out there already? Cape Town, right? But we don't see the internet. So how come people don't believe? We always talk here, what's the ultimate internet that we're on? Uh-oh, now they're looking at me like I just caught them, in the what do you call it, the headlights. The ultimate internet of every human being. Oh, Hong Kong. See, Hong Kong here. The soul internet. There's only one soul. How many times do we emphasize that? If you read even the simple story of the Bible, which we know Kabbalistically, there is truth to the story, who existed, what they did, and all of that. But the bigger lesson for us is, what does it mean for us today? How can we gain technology of the spiritual realm, like the internet? You can't see the actual internet, but you see the result. So none of us really see, or very few of us, see what's going on beyond our five senses. So you and I are here in the Kabbalah Center to learn that there is such a thing as an internet. We're all one soul. Because as we said, the Bible just says there was one being. Read very carefully the beginning of Genesis. There was one being that was then split into Adam and Eve and then split into 8 billion people. But the soul didn't split, because the soul, like the light of the Creator. How big is the light of the Creator? Infinite. So then how do you split infinite into 8 billion pieces? You can't. You can't. So you can't split the one infinite soul into 8 billion pieces either. We're just extended out. We just don't see. What stops us? Wow. Okay. What stops us from believing, perceiving that there's only one soul? Our five senses that tell us, no, there's 8 billion bodies out there. And then on top of that, whatever religion or philosophy you grow up in says, we all have our own soul, right? I have my soul, you have yours, I'm responsible for mine, you're responsible for yours. Yes, in one level that's true. But in the ultimate level, that's not true. We are responsible for my soul. But there's only one my soul that just looks like, in my illusion, that it's infused in 8 billion bodies. But it's only one soul. If you listen to Michael Berg yesterday, if you're on Kabbalah.com and you were streaming yesterday, he said very simple. The Kabbalists teach us that we need to think, and be careful how you take this, especially if you're newer. The world was created for me. Now, we all know, as well, okay, let's see what comes out. We know there's two ways to look at that. There's the world's created for me because I'm better than everybody and I'm the best and you all have to do for me and blah, 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 like that. Or there's the understanding, no, that the world was created for me to be able to do what we all came here for, is just to take the light of our soul, shine it out into the world, to bring peace and harmony to the world, to live in heaven on earth. It's the only thing we came here to do, because we weren't missing anything in the endless world. We had all the light. We had direct connection with this infinite emanator of the light. So the only thing we decided is we had to come here into this world to be able to take our light of our soul and manifest all the blessings that it has the ability to give us. When the Creator, okay, let's start first the physical. When a parent, as the child grows up, because obviously, wow, I got all this stuff wants to come in the funnel, I got to open it up a little faster. When a parent looks at a child, what do they see in the child at 5, 6, 8, maybe 9, 10 years old? They see a potential, right? You see, oh, this child has a talent for business. This one has a talent for sports. This one has a talent for math. This one for English, for whatever it may be. You see the talent. Now, the parent has also two choices. I gave my child that ability. Yeah, see, none of you believe that, do you? Or, like the traditional term is, it's God-given talent and ability. So they already came with talent and ability. What is our job as parents is just to help nourish and reveal that talent and ability. Ours, we're not giving them the talent and ability. We're just letting it become manifest. So then in the same way, why did we leave the endless world to come here and take the ability that the Creator put in us, peace, love, kindness, joy, compassion, all the good stuff, and let it shine out? Okay. At every turn, there's an opportunity to see reality or falsehood. So even what I just said, we came down here to just reveal all of our light, to share all of our light. So I can already hear somebody's voice in their head is saying, yeah, isn't that what all religions teach us, what all spirituality teaches us? We have to be good, spiritual, moral, ethical, altruistic people. And we're going to just share, share, share. Well, how many of you ever heard yourself and or somebody around you say, oh no, you know, I've been sharing all my life. I give to everybody anything they want, and now it's time for me to have for me. Because everything I've ever done has always been for everybody else. No, that's the downfall of this false idea of altruism. Or as people outside of the center, many of them talk about spirituality. We're here to be spiritual people, so just give, 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 give. Sure. But you and I here in the Kabbalah Center, we distinguish between giving and sharing. Sharing is the revelation of light. Giving is a spiritual or a metaphysical business exchange. When you go to the store and you buy your groceries, do you really say to yourself, wow, I'm such a charitable person, I'm giving my money away to the grocery store? Yes or no? No, of course not. It's a business exchange. You're giving them money, they're letting you walk out with groceries. You go to the mall, you give them your money, they let you walk out with clothes. It's a business exchange. So giving, in its simple understanding, is simply that. We give to the person, so they'll give to us back. That's not spirituality in its truest form. That's not sharing. That's just giving. And it's not a bad thing. Please don't misconstrue and tell you that's a bad thing to be giving. No, but when you find at some point people say, no, I give too much, I give too much, I give too much. But you can never share too much. Because if you're revealing light, it's blessings coming out of the infinite light the Creator gave us. So how can you share and reveal too much light? You can't. No. We came here to share 100%. Now, can you do more than 100%? No. There's really no such thing, and we all get it, you know, as I gave 110%. No, there's only 100%. 100% is 100%. Right? What do people mean when they say, I gave 110%? A little extra. But extra of the 100%? There's no such thing as more than 100%. What are they really saying? Well, I've given some, but now I'm going to push myself to give more than I've given up to this moment, so I'm giving 110%. But when we stand back and look at it with Kabbalah eyes, from what we learn here, there's no such thing. I may be at 70 and I can push myself extra, and I can go beyond my 70 to push and share kindness, love, compassion 75%, but I can't do 110%, can't even do 101%. I can only do 100. Okay, before I go too far, let's do our affirmation and then see where today's going to take us. It started out pretty interesting. Thank all of you for being disguised parts of me to help give me some answers that I've been looking for. Okay. And all I had was coffee. Okay. Wow. All right. So for those of you here, it's on the screen. For those of you out there in cyberspace, let me make sure I don't cover it up. Great. Which hand is which hand? This one. Okay. So we're going to say this. And again, the key is not just saying the words. Any parrot, any whatever machine can be programmed to say it, but only we can use the words to help engrave deeper in our heart and soul the truth and take out or transform the falsehoods that we've grown up with. So let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Now maybe there's another idea. Why do we say all human beings? Not because, again, we're going to be spiritual, altruistic, moral, ethical. No, because there's not a human being on earth that's not directly a part of me, not directly a part of you. So just like we do with our own being, what part of your life do you not mind having chaos in? Health, love, business, protection. Which one do you not mind having some chaos in? No, you want good in all of them, right? Okay, so if we want good in all areas of our life, where do we have to shine our light? All areas. And if we want all good all the time, how often do we have to share our light? All the time. Hello, it's not a complicated idea, is it? The implementation, yes, is difficult. Why? Because we've trained ourselves to its opposite, right? We trained ourselves to believe like this. Okay. You remember when two people meet their automobiles in the middle of an intersection, and the police come to investigate, and they ask both sides, what happened? So car A, the driver or whatever, the people get out, and they tell their story of what the facts are. Yes? Then the police goes over to car B, and they ask everybody in car B what the facts are. Are they always the same story? Why not? There's only one set of facts, right? What happened, happened. It's a fact. Which car did the right thing, as we call it, by motor vehicle law? Which one did the wrong thing? There are facts that way. But then how come you hear a different story from either side? Or any of you have kids. When something goes wrong with the kids, two kids fighting, or there was trouble if you work in a school, two kids, fighting in the school, and you ask both of them, what happened? Same thing. Each one will tell you a set of facts, but the two of them usually don't fit, right? One says this and one says that. And of course, what's the usual bottom line between the two kids or the two people in the cars? The other person is at fault. They made me do it. Common factor, no? So we want to understand why. How is it that facts can happen, people can see the same thing, and yet when they tell the story, they're different? So let's hopefully wake up a new level of conscious awareness about what consciousness means. We just affirmed consciousness is everything. But do we really grasp what consciousness means? So if the Creator gave us 100%, filled our soul with 100% of its light, and that's the source of infinite lasting blessings, literally the ability to live in heaven on earth, peace all the time, happiness, joy all the time, etc. So then what's consciousness? How come we all don't have that 100% consciousness? Because as the Kabbalists teach us, what does consciousness mean? Right now, you and I have a consciousness, and if you think how we often express it, when we came into the world, okay, let's skip the reincarnation part, because maybe some of you aren't yet clearly grasping reincarnation. So let's say in this lifetime, we come in this lifetime, and if you think about how you, friends, siblings, whatever, as you grew up, there are certain good qualities. Yes? Tell me you met somebody growing up that had absolutely no good qualities. Absolutely. Okay, good. My favorite saying, and Google it if you don't know who he is, Al Capone loved his mother. So he was a rotten murderer, mafioso, gangster, etc. But He loved his mother. So you can't say he was 100% bad. Okay, that doesn't mean we're excusing his behavior or exempting it or whatever, but we want to understand everybody has some good qualities, and let's forget the other person. As you grew up, when you look back on your later teens, let's say, did you have no bad qualities? Even a little bit? Okay, I don't know about you guys, I had some. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the same thing. So what's consciousness? So let's say we've revealed 60% of our potential. So 60% of the time we're kind, we're generous, we're compassionate, we're forgiving, we're tolerant, all that stuff. Yes? We have gratitude, appreciation. But 40% of the time, the other part, which is potential from what the Creator gave us, that's hidden. The light is infinite, so it doesn't disappear. It's not that it's not there. No such thing as a void. No such thing as an empty space. Even science tells us the universe cannot hold a vacuum. There's something that fills every space. So why do we see now 40% missing? It's not missing. It's just hidden behind a cover called fear, anger, jealousy, greed, insecurity, all that stuff. It's just a cover over that 40%. So then what's consciousness? At that moment, we're 60-40. Which means when you look around the world, 60% of the time, of the person, of the event, you'll perceive some good, the light. 40% of that person, that event, that situation, etc., you see the covering of anger, jealousy, greed, ego, insecurity, all of the bad stuff. That's consciousness. So then what does it mean to raise consciousness? It doesn't mean, like some people think, I'll walk through walls, I don't know, I'll teleport. Okay, ultimately, yes, we have that ability. But what does it mean to raise our consciousness? If we're at 60, 40, what does it mean to raise consciousness? Go to 65. Now you've raised your consciousness, right? When you ask your boss for a raise, what do you want? You're making $100 an hour. You say, boss, I want a raise. They say, sure, $90. Or do you want 110? I know you all think I'd love $1 million an hour. Okay, but for most people, that's usually not going to be, even in a simple term, possible. Okay, but they'll go from 100 to 110. Okay, it's reasonable, 120, something like that. So they're raising our consciousness, the same thing. The same thing. But you cannot raise your consciousness if everything you look at is 60% good and 40% bad. That's just where you're at. So yes, it's better than 50-50. It's better than 40 of the good and 60 of the bad. But if a person stays 60-40 all their life, as the Kabbalists teach us, it's just a wasted life. It literally is a wasted life. Because they were already 60% good. What did you add coming into this world at 60 and leaving at 60? Nothing. So it was a wasted life. Our purpose is not to be in this world, have a car and a house and a job and family and friend. No, it's not our purpose. Our purpose is to reveal all the light of our soul. So if we're 60-40, then let's realize, then I'm only seeing 60% of the absolute truth. And I'm seeing 40% falsehood. So then the other person, in the accident or with the kids or whatever it may be, you and your friends, you never had a disagreement with a friend? I think I froze everybody's brain over here. You could feel it go, whoa, what? You have an argument with a friend. Why do you have a difference of opinion? 60-40. They're seeing their 60-40 in you and the situation, and you're seeing 60-40 in that. Where do you think your opinions come from? Your opinions don't come from the light, it comes from wherever you're at. So if you're at 70-30, your opinion is, if this thing is good for me, then I'll go with the 70. But if they're trying to tell me the other 30, I'm not going to see it. So I'm going to disagree with them. And they're seeing the same thing. Our opinions are based on our consciousness. That's why you and I learn. You want to raise your consciousness? You have to be involved in one form or another of something called a challenge. Because what's a challenge? If you think about it, in any way, shape, or form, whether it's called a test at school, whether it's called, filling out, I don't know, or having some event at work that's unexpected, you say, wow, that's a challenge. What does it really mean? What is a challenge really making the attempt to do for us? Raise our consciousness. But how can we raise our consciousness if we don't think we need to raise our consciousness? Or if we don't realize what part of our consciousness we need to raise? Because the glitch to all of this, which is not really a glitch, because we did it very consciously when we first entered into this world, I thought of it this way, we put a spy. Maybe it'll help some of us to see it a little differently. We put a spy inside our own head. We did it collectively as that one being. Before we split into Adam and Eve and all the rest of the 8 billion parts, we as that one being, we put a spy in our head. So we have the voice of our soul on one side of our head, the truth, the absolute truth, the recollection of the 100% of the light from the endless world and why we came here. But then we put a spy on the other side to say, well, look, I know you're planning on coming into the physical world to reveal all your light, but if there's no opposition, if there's no challenge, if you don't have to make an effort, you're not going to enjoy it. At least not lasting. That spy, what is the value of the spy, or what is the purpose of the spy? Influence us to seek instant gratification. I want right now, I don't want to wait. How many adults do you know, when you objectively look at their behavior, you see that's what they're really looking for, instant gratification. They want to be right now. They want what they want right now. They want you to agree with them right now. They want you to act the way they want you to act right now. No adult acts that way. And who else do we usually point out acts that way? Give me right now. Children, when you and I were children, desire to receive for self alone. That's it. That's how we grow up. Give me. I want you to take care of me. I want you to feed me. I want you to clothe me. I want you to give me what I want. That's it. We think we're adults. I'll never forget the first time I heard my teachers, the Rav and Karen, talk about adult. Because, I guess the statute of limitation has expired. When I was 20, and 21 was the drinking disco entrance age, so I pulled, back then before computers, I pulled a little trick, temporary, on the DMV. So I had a temporary ID that said I was now 21, 6 months before I was actually 21. Why? Why did you want me to? Okay, so I got to the disco, I went out with all that stuff, right? So that was it. So when the Rav and Karen talked about adults, because we all wanted to be adults, how many of you now want an ID that says you're older than you are? Right? When I was 20, I wanted one that said 21, right? If you're 16 and you're in that stage, you want an ID that says you're 18 or 21 or something. Now in our stage, you want somebody that says you're older than you are? No, you want the fake ID that says you're younger than you are. Right? Look how relative it is. But what's an adult? Do you know what the word actually means, where it comes from? And this was shocking, because I knew the word, but I never associated adult with the term to adulterate. If you adulterate something, what do you do with it? You corrupt it. So we take children, and they get corrupted into adults. But don't go, because I hear some of you, that spy in your head is already taking you, listen to what Chaim's saying, they're rotten, they're terrible. No. What does adulterate mean? In the simplest terms, how many of you, when you were growing up, you had invisible friends, you had dreams of flying, you had all these amazing sort of fantastical type visions, dreams, thoughts, hopes, wishes, etc. Then you become adult and they say, no, now you have to see the real world. Right? You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. There are no invisible friends. You'll never make this, that, or the other thing. That's corruption. Because we have such potential We are the Creator incarnate. Which means the power of the Creator is the power we have in our level. We are not the quantum creator, but we have the power of the Creator. It infused a piece of itself in us. So we have the power to heal, to bless. We have the power to move and not manipulate, but bring the physical world back into harmony and order. Because that's how it started. It didn't start in disarray. The Garden of Eden, does that sound like chaos? When you think of the Garden of Eden, before what they call the sin of Adam and Eve, was it chaos? Was it terrible? Were there fighting? Was there trouble? Or do we perceive the Garden of Eden like heaven on earth? It was so blissful and peaceful and everything else. That's how it started. Who screwed it up? Don't say Adam and Eve unless you understand you are a piece of Adam and Eve. We did it. And how did we do it? We said, you know what? This heaven on earth isn't enough for us. We have to have egotistical control over the world. And so, as the Kabbalists tell us simply, the eating from the tree of knowledge, good and evil, didn't mean we ate from the tree of knowledge, good and evil, and that was the problem. No, the fact was, by eating of the tree of knowledge, good and evil, we ignored, disconnected, and pushed away from us the tree of life, the true reality, all the solutions, and all the clarity and the power of the Creator inside of us. And we gave into the spy that says, give me now, instant gratification, and they're all outside of you. I mean, look around the room. Do you really think, you and I, yes, okay, we are the exceptions to the 8 billion, or most of the 8 billion, because we understand we're all one soul. We understand that if we don't bond together and work together in one consciousness, then heaven forbid what the world's going to look like in the next year, 2, 5. We know we have to work together. We know that we have the ability of bringing the removal of all the darkness in the world. We have the power to take away death. In the Garden of Eden, was there death? Nope. We are meant to be immortal. We are immortal. We've just covered it up and disconnected ourselves. I mean, heaven forbid a person could reach inside them and disconnect their heart. How long are they going to live? Not very long. So that's what happened on a spiritual level. You and I, in the being of Adam and Eve, we disconnected from the light source. And therefore, death came into being. So then it's up to us to reconnect ourselves and take death out of the equation of this world and all the chaos that goes with it. It's up to us. It's up to us. But the spy in our head makes us look at the facts. These are the facts. They said, they did, they acted that way. Okay, I agree. I'm not denying those facts. People do say. But we have the power of the Creator. So do we have to give in to what they did? How many times, if you're a parent, how many times when you heard the argument of your children, let's hope it was only before they were teenagers. You look at one, Johnny, why did you do that? Well, because Jane did this. And what do you usually say as a parent? 2 wrongs don't make a right. Never heard of that, right? No? Yes? You can do this. At least they can't see you. At least I'll know, right? 2 wrongs don't make a right. Okay. So if they scream and yell at you and they say that terrible thing, etc., and you do the same thing they're doing, just what you think is the opposite, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Both people have added another filter of negativity to the covering of their eyes. And guess what? If you act with anger, you put another filter of anger over your spiritual eyes. And then what do you see? You see more anger in the world. And not only that, but then you see more reason to be angry. Not because there is, and not that because that's what you're supposed to do, but because you put a filter of anger, so you see anger. If you put on rose-colored glasses, how does the world look? Rose-colored, right? If you put on like a blindfold, what does the world look like? Dark. Dark. So did the world change or did your perspective change? So that's what you're learning here. Consciousness is everything. So then also the opposite. If we can put layers of fear, anger, and jealousy over our eyes, then we can also take them off. And every time you take off a layer, let's say, of anger, with the actions of forgiveness and tolerance when you initially felt angry, then what happened? You take away a layer of the anger and a layer of the forgiveness and tolerance and compassion shines out from you. So like we said in the beginning, you just went from 60 to 65. Now there's only 35% of the bad, which means what happened to your life? 5% better stuff. Better peace, love, protection, happiness, prosperity, etc. But it may not show up right away. It will show up. That's an absolute immutable law, cause and effect. No exceptions to the rule. But whether it'll take 1 second, 1 hour, 1 month, or a decade is up to our tikkun process, it's called. Or some of you might relate to the term karma, right? It's a process, like everything else in the world. Okay, not that I'm much of a cook, but when I've looked at recipes, you look up the recipes, here's all the ingredients, this is how you do it, and then it gives you this little thing says, 5 minutes preparation, 20 minutes cooking time, and then serves 4. You follow me? Like this. There's a process. You don't say, here's all your ingredients, 3 seconds you're going to be able to eat it. We know there's a process to things. And some things that you'll cook, 3 minutes, beginning to end. Some things that you're preparing the meal could be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Right? You make a turkey for Thanksgiving. I know people, it takes half a day to make it. 10 minutes to finish it off. Right? But nobody expects you're going to cook a turkey in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know there's a process. So we have to be willing to accept the law of cause and effect relative to our soul, the filters, all that we've done up to this moment determines how quickly or how long it will take for that process of going out and coming back to us. The spy in our head, that opponent, that adversary, that's the one that says no. Because that spy is a parasite. I'm so comfortable. I was just happy. They said something. I'm now off balance, uncomfortable. The spy in our head says, so scream at them, yell at them, curse them, push them away, run away from them, something. 5 minutes of absolute bliss. And after 5 minutes, now I feel guilty. Why did I do it? They're a good friend or this or that. You know I'm better than that. It's not lasting fulfillment. So better to take the momentary discomfort of patience, to allow the universe to go in its circle, to take its process, to bring things to your highest and your greatest good, than try and tell the universe what it should be doing for you. Because you can't tell the universe. You can tell the spy in your head, I'll give it to you, but don't forget, it's only 5 minutes. But after 5 minutes, guess what it tells us now? You forgot. You forgot. Why? Because the facts are the facts. Joe Smith stole $100. In a year, somebody comes to steal from Joe Smith $100. Do you think in the year Joe Smith is thinking, oh my goodness, there's a law of cause and effect, he stole $100, it's going to go out, and at a certain time in the future, somebody's going to take it from him, or he's going to lose it, or he'll get fined $100 or something like that. You think Joe Smith thinks that? No. The spy in his head says, oh, wow, you got the $100. And you remember how you went right out and spent it, and that thing that you bought was not good anymore. But you forgot. So then a year later, when the $100 got taken away, Joe Smith forgot. And why? Because the facts are the facts. Because Mary Williams took the $100 from him. So now the spy says, blame Mary Williams. So now not only did he not really pay his $100 debt, but he just added a debt of anger. Because now he's angry at Mary Williams for stealing the $100. So now he's got another circuit, cause and effect. So now maybe $110 has to be stolen or lost. And somebody else has to come along and make him angry. So he can pause and say, no, the light is infinite. I want to go now from 65 to 70 or 75. So I have to feel angry. Nobody says you have to feel great and wonderful when people do not nice things. But we have free will. No? How many of you would like to give away your free will? You want everybody around you to make the choice for you? No. So we have free will. So the free will says I can feel angry at Mary Williams because of what she just did, but I don't have to act in anger. I have the free will to take my 65% and now boost it to 75 by acting towards Mary Williams while I'm feeling angry, which is, again, infinite light hidden behind the cover of anger. And if I'm acting with kindness, with the light of kindness, I'm peeling away the layer of anger, and now I go to 75%. Are you following the idea? That's up to us. But I agree with you. Facts are facts. Facts are facts. They said, the two people meeting in the intersection, the facts are facts. If you had a recording from above of what would happen, you'd have all the facts. But each one has their own opinion based on their own consciousness. But we have the free will to interpret the facts. Let me give you a test. Okay. So you see, right, in your neighborhood, so you know you're familiar with the people around, but you see this unknown person, somebody you don't recognize, run into a person's house and come out with a suitcase, get in the car real quick and drive away. What happened? Those are the facts. This person you don't recognize from that household ran in, runs out with like a suitcase, a bag, something, gets in the car and drives away. The spy in your head says, thief, somebody stole. The light in your head says, oh, my neighbors had a guest, and now they're going home back to where they came from. No, not possible? Yes or no? Facts are the facts, though. You don't recognize them. They ran in, they took something from the house, they got in the car and went away. Those are the facts. But what it does for you or me or whoever's seeing it depends on how we interpret it. Here's another one. Stranger in the middle of the night runs into a house where there's a family and kids sleeping, grabs a kid and runs out. Kidnapping? Sounds like, right? And if you listen to some of the news out there, oh, not even unreasonable. Or maybe the person who was walking by, like you hear the stories, saw that there was smoke coming out of the house, ran in and started taking the people out of the house so they wouldn't burn to death. Facts are the facts, right? So what are you saying? Well, Chaim, if you had given me all the information, told me the smoke was there and this and that, then of course I would have said, well, no, they were actually a hero saving people. So when Joe Smith comes and does whatever he does to you, whatever's happened to you this last week to push your buttons, why don't you say the same thing? Pause. What are the real facts? What are the bigger picture? Yeah, there's cause and effect. So maybe 2 years ago, 10 years ago, I did something similar to a person. It doesn't have to be to this particular person, but something similar. And now I'm getting the opportunity to pay it back. But to pay it back, first I have to feel the emotion that I did then. Anger, jealousy, greed, judgment, something. So they just came along with the conspiracy of my soul that went out and hired people to come and put me in a situation to push that button so I could peel away that layer and let more light shine. My soul did it, your soul did it. Because remember what we said in the beginning, now I get why. How many souls are there in the world really? One. So when Joe Smith, Mary Williams, whatever other name you'll give it, when they come, or they did this week to you, something, it's your soul just in the body of Mary Williams, Joe Smith, or whoever it was. It's still only us. So when we teach in Kabbalah 1, our soul writes the script to bring all these things about. This scenario with these actors at this time in this way, it's really our own soul. Yeah, it looks like Mary Williams. It looks like the other person. Okay, that could be the fact too, right? It was a thief that ran out of the house with a suitcase. It was a kidnapper ran out with a kid in his arms. Facts are facts, but the way you see it, and most importantly, the way you see it is therefore the way you'll act, and therefore what will come back to you. Everything happens to us. We're the ones deciding which path. That's all the choice we have, to continue or to move deeper and deeper or stronger further on the path of the light or into greater chaos and darkness. That's it. There's only two paths in life. And we're constantly, by our actions, deciding which path we're moving further down. And how our actions based? How we interpret the facts. So let me give you a few facts. Some of you may be more familiar with this. The facts are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, facts. The Zohar in a house, earthquake comes, nothing happens to that house. Zohar in the house, hurricane used to come, because they don't come anymore in Florida. Nothing happened to the house in spite of everybody around them. Fact, kid carrying a Zohar because his parents didn't want him riding his motor scooter, because at that point there were a lot of suicide bombings going on in Israel. So got him a motorcycle, so he, a little scooter, so he could drive to school, right, and not have to worry. One day it was raining, he gets on a bus because it was raining. Pocket Zohar that his mother made sure he carried it with him. Sadly, a bomb. The bus blew up, and his story was that he just felt an angel picked him up, took him out, the bomb exploded, and then put him back down. Now, you have two choices. It's all coincidence, it's all lucky, it's all happenstance, it's all random. Or you could say, you know what? At some point when it's all surrounded by the Zohar, besides what the Zohar says, besides what the Zohar teaches, besides the scientific facts, in its written form at least 2,000 years ahead of anything science knows, that this really is the power of the endless light. Our choice, our decision. But how you decide determines stronger on the path of the light, brighter, or delving greater into the darkness, more chaos, more pain and suffering. It's our choice. 2004, okay, I want to tell you, 2004, the Rav had a stroke. The greatest Kabbalist in our generation. Now we have another one, he left with us, Michael Berg, but he was from the lineage. And if you're not familiar, look up Rav Yehuda Ashlag. He started the Kabbalah Center 100 years ago. He taught one man, Rav Yehuda Tzvi Brandwein, and he taught one man, Rabbi Philip Berg. So in 2004, after teaching immortality, this, that, and other, all the power of the Zohar, deciding that we had to bring not only Kabbalah to the world, though of course that's really Karen's doing, but the Zohar to every house on earth. So he has a stroke. But within 24 hours, he was out of the coma and speaking coherently. Now, you have the choice. Look at the stroke. And there were students in the center who were very close to the Rav and Karen, who left the center because the Rav had a stroke. Because that's what they saw, the stroke. They didn't see the miracle in the year 2004 of somebody with a massive stroke. After the fact, we saw the MRIs, basically half the brain matter, mush. But the Rav, because he is a Kabbalist, was able to, if you will, relocate all the functions of that half of the brain in different parts of his body. So within 24 hours of being in a complete coma, woke up, walked, talked, coherent for another 9 years, and then decided to leave the world. So what are you going to look at? What are you going to look at? Which one are you going to look at? So you have the choice. We all have our own facts in life. No? This happened to you, that happened to you, look at that, they did that. Okay. But you can either keep the bad going, which is your choice, heaven forbid, or you can decide to transcend. Because this world, inherently, what we call the 1%, the Rav always called it the playing field of the opponent, of that spy. Science, what's the second law of thermodynamics? I know it's not a science class and it's not a test, but I thought maybe entropy, everything falling apart. That's the law of this world. Fall apart, fragment, etc. 8.5 billion people were all fragmented. Oh, on the internet we could be connected. Are we really connecting on the soul level? It's up to us. This world inherently, in and of itself, is the world of entropy, chaos. You cannot bring heaven on earth back. You cannot bring harmony and order in this world through this stuff. Your kids come home from playing in the mud. Can you remove the mud with mud? You can exchange the type of mud there is, maybe. Can you replace dirt with dirt? No. If you want to take the mud off, you have to use water. If you want to take the darkness away, can you use darkness? You ever tried to get darkness out of your house with darkness? Why didn't you try? Even think, I never thought of it that way. Why don't we try? If we try and get rid of angry people with anger, jealous people with jealousy, greedy people with greed, why don't we try and get rid of darkness with darkness? Did you ever ask? No, we're not that conscious. I wasn't until this minute, in this way, honestly. Why did we never try when we do it in every other way in our life? Because we know with absolute certainty, from the time you're, 5 years old, maybe less, that light is the only thing will get rid of darkness. Then we grow up and we adulterate ourselves. No, anger will get rid of the nasty people, right? All the greed, selfishness, ego, all the reactive, negative stuff will get rid of all of our problems and we'll have happiness and joy. That's adulteration. Let's go back to being children. But the ones that say, yes, I see a world of peace and harmony. And yes, I see joy. How many times do we see whichever group you talk about? People put on these social medias, every now and then you'll see it. And it's interesting, the spy in our head is also the spy in everybody else's head. There's only one. So they're also conspiring. So every now and then you'll see these things on social media. Person will go out with money. It's a big deal now. They find a homeless person on the street. Hey, can you help me with this and this and this? And when the homeless person helps the one who's making this video, then he says, here's $1,000. Thank you for helping me. You see things like that. Warms your heart, no? That people are out there helping people. Or you'll see whatever frame, and I know whichever one I'll say, somebody go, why didn't he say the other? But excuse me, I'm sorry, I apologize up front. But you'll see a Jew and a Muslim, right? Working, kids with peace or people with peace. So you see black and white working together, happy, joy. We'll see things like that. But then we'll look at the rest of the world. So, oh no, has to be a fight. All the religions can't get together. All the colors can't get together. All the nationalities can't get together. And look, the facts are the facts. Is there never people fighting with people? And it doesn't matter. You could say black, white, yellow, brown with the other groups. Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. But tell me, no whites fight with whites, no Jews fight with Jews, no Christian fight with whichever group you say. Nobody fights within their own group? Hello? The human situation is the same for everybody. Human is human. It's the playing field of the opponent, of the spy. Chaos is chaos. You'll never fix it. You'll never. How can I prove it to you? Because look, if a white can fight with a white, or a Jew or a Christian with Jew or Christian, etc., etc. So if everybody were Christian, everybody would be at peace? If everybody were white or black, everybody would be at peace? Everybody was Muslim? No! Because we don't see it today. So why do we think that if everybody were all one thing, there'd be peace in the world? Because that's what the spy in our head says. Meanwhile, it's just beating us. It's laughing all the way to the spiritual bank. Because 8 billion people giving away their energy to these kinds of thoughts. No, let's wake up today. Hello, wake up. Wake up. Consciousness is everything. Be conscious. Only light takes away darkness. Period. End of story. Only light. And the most powerful light on earth, and I want to keep reminding you, the Zohar. Nothing more powerful. It's the source of everything. You can tell me your religion. Christian Bible, Jewish Bible, Muslim Bible, whatever you want to say. Yes, power. I'm not here to deny that they're not holy. But I will tell you, they're all sourced in the Zohar. That's why Kabbalah is not a religion, it's not a philosophy, it's not a theology. It's spiritual science, absolute immutable laws. And actually, Michael Berg said it not long ago, but I was listening to an old recording of the Rav. And the Rav basically said the same thing. The Zohar is giving us all the immutable laws, everything. There's nothing that the Zohar does not explain in one way or another. It's all the immutable laws. But a lot of science is not yet discovered those laws. Quantum physics is proving what the Zohar wrote 2,000 years ago. Good and bad cholesterol proving what the Zohar wrote 2,000 years ago. But it took science 2,000 years to figure it out. So just because science hasn't told us and proven what the Zohar is telling us doesn't mean it's not fact. It just means science is still limited to the five senses. And until they uncover the right thing to see that the Zohar was right, they're not going to agree with us. But that doesn't mean it's not true. Facts are facts. 2,000 years, science has never disproven anything in the Zohar. They may not have proven all of it, but they have not disproven one thing of the science. Forget this, the spiritual part of it, let's say. Because meanwhile, we could still say that's, like we said today, it's a choice. You accept it, you look at it, you see it with the eyes of your heart, or you don't. But even the science written in the Zohar, indisputable. They can say they don't believe it, but they haven't disproven it. So what are the facts? The facts are, we have here's the facts. We have the spy and we have our soul's voice in our head. What happens to us is an opportunity. Every challenge is our light hidden in the shell we put around it. So peel the shell away and then you can raise your consciousness. You raise your consciousness, you're more free of the chaos of the world because you're transcending higher and higher, like you're being pulled out of a quicksand. Right? So you may have been up to your nose, and as you got pulled out, now you're at your shoulders. And you get pulled out more, now you're at your waist. You get pulled, you follow the idea? So we're pulling ourselves out. But to the extent we're still in there, expect to be challenged or better. Do what we teach you from the beginning. Go challenge yourself. Think of a nasty person in your life, somebody at work you have a little conflict, or somebody at home or in your social group. Think of one person right now. I dare you. Oh yeah, now I woke up your rebelliousness. I dare you to go to that person and say even something, even just go to them and say, you know, I really want to wish you a happy day. Something nice, just try. See what happens. Oh, you feel the fight already? The spy telling you, no way, I'm not doing that. Can't be. No. You want to raise your consciousness? You want to transcend the chaos? You want to pull yourself more out of the quicksand of the 1%? Then that's what you'll do. Start with that. Start with that. Because we want to see all of us doing the same thing. And think about it. If the spy in our head is using divisiveness against us, a house divided cannot stand, then the more of us that are fighting that one opponent, fighting that one spy that's in our head, the more we're depleting its energy. And it is finite. The illusion of darkness is finite. So the more of us making the effort to fight that opponent, that spy, we're going to take away more and more of its energy. And the faster we take it away, then the faster we're setting the example. Everybody wants to run to the light. So we'll be not only leading the charge that we'll get in the Garden of Eden first, but we'll be able to bring everybody else to live in the world as it was originally, as we're meant to do, but now for eternity. Peace, love, kindness, compassion, heaven on earth. God bless. Thank you. And now it's time to really, yes, it's time to show your appreciation. And I want to, yes, I'm being very direct, but we can't, well, you all know, we can't do this without your support. It's just that simple, right? The more resources we have, the faster we can spread the Zohar around the world. It's just that simple. Those of you who need to go. Those of you who can wait, we will have our meditation on the 72 names. But meanwhile, we want to bless the offering. Whatever you give is going out for this purpose. Spread the Zohar, bring people to this wisdom, that they will also have an elevated consciousness. And when, again, we deplete the darkness faster, then the light shows up faster, more people waking up, and more people will be able to get rid of the one opponent we have. There's no opponent in the physical world. No human being is our real enemy. Yes, they misbehave in a temporary way, but they're not our enemy. They're part of our soul. So we want to just shine so much light that everybody will see the truth, everyone will be united, and everybody will be fighting the one enemy. Because if you look at anything, any conflict in the world, it's always because there were people acting in a fragmented way. Okay? So hold your offering. Those of you online, I just put the place you can give also, but we just want to put our love and our blessing in. So just start with appreciation, gratitude and appreciation for all that the Creator's given us. Appreciation, seeing greater value in all our capabilities, in all, even the challenges in our life that we look back and we see made us better people because we persevered through the challenge. We made the effort to use the light inside of us to overcome and defeat the illusion, the spy in that challenge. And therefore, with all the resources we have, we want to share that through the center to touch literally 8 billion hearts and soul, to unite people consciously on the spiritual internet of the soul, that we're all working together in harmony, unity, synchronicity, to each fight the opponent, the spy, as it fights us, challenges us, and therefore deplete its energy, not only for us, but for every human being on earth. That we are able and will see peace on earth, the return to the Garden of Eden in our day, and together we say, Amen. So those of you who are unfamiliar, well, let me put it up here for you. It's on the screen. This is one of the 72 names of God. The Hebrew letters are not created by any human being. They are literally just particles of the light of the Creator. So in various combinations, just like a chemical formula, H2O is 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, makes something called water. In this case, Vav Vav Lamed is the energy to help us overcome gravity, the desire to see for oneself alone. Rising out of the illusion. So just let the shapes, Vav Vav Lamed, let them be engraved in your mind's eye, because those particular shapes shine a particular frequency of the light of the Creator, combined this ability of seeing through and above all of the illusion of this world and the strength to act in the 99%. Okay, so I ask you to sit comfortably in your chairs, hands comfortably on your lap, feet flat on the floor. Take a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through the mouth. Increasing the circulation of the light of the Creator through the breath that we breathe. And each breath that circulates that light, speeding up the process of allowing us to draw on more of the 100% light inside of us, to push our consciousness forward, clearing out the blockages, the previous negative behaviors, by pushing out the illusion, allowing the light to dispel the darkness. Feel yourself relaxing into the light, expanding your mind, your awareness of the infinite light that flows in and all around you, that every human being, the entire world, is immersed in. Now envision the Vav Vav Lamed just above your head. Understanding that has the power of transcendence, defying the gravity of instant gratification, desire to see oneself alone that wants to pull us into the mud. And see these nanoparticles of the infinite light of the Creator glowing, shining, combining together into this power. Vav Vav Lamed. See the beam of light from above, ultimately from the endless world, that channels through this combination. And now allow it to enter through the top of your head. Feel the glow, the power, the energy as it reaches your mind, giving you clarity, Vav Vav Lamed, between the energy of that spy, that opponent, and the true light of your soul, the voice of the Creator in your head. And use the power of this Vav Vav Lamed to focus on, strengthen your connection to the voice of your soul, to the pure light, the transcendent realm of the 99%. And now let this energy shine from the top of your head through all of your body, bringing this pure energy to every cell of your body of transcendence, removing the veils that hide the light and allowing the light that exists in every cell of your body to shine. That it's the light energizing, vibrating in your entire being. Let this vibration expand. See it surrounding your being. See your aura emanating out. This light of unconditional love, peace, unity, clarity, that we are truly only one soul, one human beingness on earth. And let this light keep expanding, extending it out until it fills the entire world. That every human being on earth has this new awakening, a higher level of light, a greater influence of the light inside them and the voice of their soul speaking to them more clearly, more loudly. Together in this unity, let's break the spell, the hold that the spy, the opponent, has had on each and every one of us for thousands of years. Sending out so much light that we're dissipating all the darkness, taking all of our light back from this opponent that we've given it away to. Seeing and envisioning together the world transmuted from chaos to order, from darkness to light, divisiveness to love, peace, and unity. Let's acknowledge each one of us to a higher degree, appreciating, upping the value that we now perceive of the light that's always been with us, always supported us, always guided us, even through the challenges and the difficulties of our life. That we acknowledge with greater thanks, gratitude, and committing ourselves to shine more and more light through the actions of greater love, compassion, kindness, generosity, humility, forgiveness. Consciously engrave these thoughts, ideas, energy in your heart and soul. Commit yourself to stay focused of a higher consciousness day by day. And we take one more deep breath, anchoring this and solidifying it in our heart and soul. And exhale. And slowly open your eyes.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends that can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.